Today we're using Photoshop to give this nursery rhyme an alternate ending. Everyone knows the story of the Three Little Pigs. I mean, it's a story as old as time. There's three little pigs and, of course, a big bad wolf trying to eat them. So, how did they solve this dilemma? Well, they built three houses. One of them straw, one of them sticks, and one of them brick. As the story goes, the wolf huffs and puffs and blows down house number 1 and 2. Understandably. Well, kind of miraculously if you think about it. So anyways, he can't blow down the brick house, but what happens after that? It's been like 20 years since I heard this story, so I had to look it up. According to Wikipedia, the original says that the wolf climbs down a chimney and gets boiled alive and eaten. But then this other version has him flying back out the chimney with a burned butt and survives. So I finally decided to Google it, and Google said that they call 911 and Rambo shows up and murders the wolf with a machine gun. I'm not joking. Okay, I'm getting way off track, like always. The point I'm trying to make is it seems like no one actually cares how the story ends. So why not use Photoshop and make one of our own? I'm thinking like a giant robot pig thing with a flamethrower that's murdering everything in sight, a whole pack of wolves. Is that too crazy? Let's try it out. To the shop! Okay, so here we are in our fairy tale, and I thought a prairie was appropriate. And the first thing we're gonna do, like always, is duplicate our background. So the first thing we gotta do is fill in the rest of the sky. So we're just gonna grab a clone stamp and clone it all out. Okay, that works. Now we're gonna drop in a secondary background and just kind of blend this in because it gives it a little bit more color, a little bit more interest. I'm not exactly sure where the Three Little Pigs takes place, but I feel like this is it, right? Of course, now we have to blend it in, so I'm just gonna use a mask and a big fat round soft brush. And sky. Alright, so first up we're dropping in the straw house. This is the piggy's first and weakest house. We're gonna throw it in the back right here. Of course, mask it out first. It doesn't have to be too detailed because it's pretty far away and we're probably not gonna notice any mistakes. Okay, not bad. Next up is the stick house. The one made of wood, and this one is on fire. I'm just gonna do the most simple mask on here because we're really looking for composition, just placement. We're gonna clean it up later. Okay, we got it in place, and now we're gonna add back some more flame. So I just found this generic fire pit, and we're gonna scale it, put it in place, and set it to screen. Let's add a little more just for good measure. Let's really burn this thing down. Okay, now we're gonna embed it a little bit using a grass brush on the mask. Just kind of plop it in a little bit. Okay, so where there's fire, there's gotta be smoke, right? So I found this image of this poor guy's house getting burned down, so I figured I'd use the smoke for this edit. Once again, we're gonna mask and just erase what we don't want and scale it and plop it into place. Next, we're gonna add in our hero, or villain. I'm not actually sure. Why am I adding a mech soldier, you may ask? Well, because Mr. Piggy's coming back, and he's coming back with a vengeance, and this is his bodysuit. Let's just grab a pen tool and cut it out. Looking pretty sharp, I gotta say. Okay, plant him in as well with the grass. Okay, now let's place our itty bitty piggy in the top of this mech soldier. Look at him. Look how happy he is. He's just happy to be here. Okay, now that he's got a little bit of light and shadow, he needs a little glass shield. So we're just gonna plop this thing right here. Looking good, Mr. Pig. Now we need to add in some wolves, some sleeping wolves. And of course, their awake brethren. We need a whole pack of wolves here, right? So to make this guy look like he's really in a deep sleep, we're gonna do puppet warp. And just put some anchors around him and kind of make it look like he's flat on the ground rather than floating. There you go. Night night, little wolf. Okay, so jumping around back to the piggy. We have now found out who has burned down their own house. It's Mr. Pig with his giant flamethrower. How I'm gonna make this look like it's coming out of his flamethrower is I'm gonna duplicate it, rotate it, scale it, and then add some motion blur. Let's just make sure we get the angle correct. And that looks pretty good. No flamethrower is complete without a bunch of tubes and stuff. I have found here a regular old corrugated tube, and we're gonna make it look like it's part of some heavy duty machinery. We're actually gonna cheat right here and just click remove background. Perfect. And you guessed it, use a mask and paint it in. Okay, so we can all agree that this scene needs more chaos. So here's a line of fire I'm just gonna throw on the ground behind him. Shit, I totally forgot to add a fuel tank to the flamethrower. Okay, so let's put this right here. Looks good. Add another hose. Okay, back in action. Okay, so where were we? Oh yeah, fire. Okay, that'll do. Alright, so if you notice, this wolf back here is not really looking at him, the pig guy. So we gotta add in a secondary head and put that on him. Make him a little more angry. I mean, he should be. Okay, I'm just gonna blend this in at the speed of light. Alright, this is looking pretty cool, but you know what would make it look even cooler is if it was at dusk. So we're gonna add a camera raw filter to the background. Try to set the scene. Set the mood. Okay, not bad, but last time I checked, fire emits light, so let's fix that. We're gonna pump up the brightness and contrast to the background, and then throw a mask on it and just paint in where we want the highlights to be. And since we introduced a new light source, we have to add it to everything. So we're gonna do the same thing to our furry four-legged friends over here. And of course some shadows on Mr. Pig. Now of course we need some glowing highlights from the flame, from his flamethrower of course. So we're just gonna do a hue and saturation and spin it around until we get a good emission. Then mask, invert, and paint it in. Alright, looking sharp. Now we gotta add some peripheral shadows. We're just gonna manually draw these in. Okay, I think he needs like an Iron Man style light on his chest. So we're gonna do a black layer, grab a lens flare. Where is it? There it is. And kind of mess around, find one that we like. That looks pretty good. Now all we have to do is set this layer to screen and adjust it. This guy needs a little smoke PNG action. Okay guys, now we're gonna add a neural filter. Which neural filter, you may ask? Well, we're going for depth blur. On the preview, all we gotta do is select the focal point and let the computer compute. Alright, look at that, not bad. Lastly, we're gonna throw a camera raw filter on this thing and call it a day. Alright, that's pretty much it folks. Let me know what you think about this piece in the comments. I thought this piece turned out pretty cool, so I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you want to see more workflow videos like this, make sure you subscribe. So after you like this video, make sure you head over to my Instagram to see this photo and more. I'd love to chat. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.